Welcome back to Street Rust. I'm Keith, and I've been MIA for about a year. So my apologies for that. We let life get in the way sometimes. I had other priorities. Went through the COVID like everybody else. That was a fun couple of days. All through that and everything. So wanted to get back to one of my passions. My family, my God, are my passions, but also these old cars are my passion. Cars in general are my passion. Love to do it. So. What's been going on around here in the last year? Probably the last video you saw was the 68 Galaxy. We were rebuilding the top end of that 302. Did get that running, sold that car. Had to get some projects out of here. You're going to see some videos today on a 1972 four-door LTD. Had a 400 big block in it. My youngest son, about a year ago, he was 15 or so. We bought that car for him. And we put a lot of work into it. Like I said, that's what you're going to see today. I'm gonna just just put everything together and shake it up and let you see it. Some of the video's bad. I've got a new GoPro, so hopefully the sound is better, the picture is better, and things of that nature. Really trying to invest in this process to send some enjoyment out there into the world as it pertains to old cars. So the 1972 LTD, you're going to see all that. We did sell it. We got it cleaned up. It looked pretty good. And we went from a 1972 four-door LTD to a 1999 Miata, and that's what we're currently working on. So I'm not necessarily a Mopar guy, I'm not necessarily a Chevy guy, I'm not necessarily a Ford guy. I'm a car guy, okay? And I've been learning about Miatas, and actually they're pretty fun little cars, and they are zippy, I can tell you that. It's got a manual in it and all that. Some other things going on. My oldest son decided to buy a pickup truck. He found a real nice Ford short bed, an old F-150, not old, it's I guess you'd call it the second series. It's a square body. I think it's a 93, something like that. Anyway, good looking truck. We got to get rid of his 2000 Mustang. It's a V6, it's a manual. We did coilover, it's dropped, it's about 2 inches off the ground. I'm tired of messing with the exhaust. I'm tired of replacing the headers that we break because it's dragging on the ground. What else? We got a throttle body. I think I already said that on that thing. We've got it tuned. It is a V6. It is what it is, but it's a fun little car. We got to get it cleaned up, do a little bit of front end work on that, and get it out of here. So what else? What else is going on? Oh yeah, by the way, my youngest son, who's super cool. I'm not cool. My youngest son told me that my opening video looks like it's from the 90s. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, the 90s is cool. Then I realized it's 2022. The 90s was a long time ago. So I'm working on a logo. I'm working on cleaning up the channel. I only got 2 videos out there. This will be the 3rd video. So anyway, without further ado, oh wait, got to tell you about the beast back here, Theos. Theos is Greek for God. That's the name of this car. And it's got a 383. It's got the 727 torque flight. This is a running, driving vehicle. I've got the fuel tank out right now, cleaning it up. I've got the carpeting out, working on the upholstery. I snagged out of Pennsylvania, put it on Facebook, it's a 7501, I believe, Y-end 4-barrel intake. It came off a 69 Roadrunner off a 383. Got that. I missed out on the high performance exhaust manifolds. That's the route I'm going to go on this car. And we're going to put a cam in it. Don't know what kind of cam yet, but we're going to have to do the cam, the lifters, and the springs. And we're going to learn how to change the springs while the heads are still on. So we're going to do that. So there's going to be a lot of videos coming on this bad boy. The first thing we're going to do, though, is I'm going to pull the Carter 2-barrel carburetor off. I finally got a hold of a rebuild kit because it runs real sluggish. And I'm going to run this 2-barrel until I get all the parts together for the 4-barrel conversion. We're going to go ahead and rebuild that. So that's the first video you're going to see on this car after this LTD video. Can't speak. We're going to rebuild that carburetor and hopefully be some good information to share. The other big thing going on with this car, if anybody knows anything about C-bodies, they have these dual slab heater cores in them. And we're going to do a video on that because I have yet to find a video out there that goes through reconditioning the heater box. This has AC as well, and I want to keep AC in it. But I've yet to find a video that goes through the process of redoing the heater box, the air box, for a C-body Mopar. So we're going to do that as well. So anyway, So again, without further ado, please enjoy these videos on the LTD. Remember, my apologies, some of the video is rough, but I think the final project turned out good. And you know what? Doesn't matter, because we had a great time doing it. Thanks. Greetings. Ford LTD 1972 belongs to my 14-year-old son. I'm out here by myself. He's actually still at band practice. So we're going to get this thing started and get it in the house, get it in the garage, not the house, preferably not the house. But we're going to get it in the garage. We got to get some things tightened up on this, get it cleaned up, because we've decided that we are going to sell this. We want to my son bought this car with his money that he saved up, that I gave him. But he's done a good job, and we've got to get some things tightened up on it, get it cleaned up, get it idling better. We've already done a little work to the engine, changed the fuel pump, things of that nature, and get this beast up for sale so that he can buy something that he wants to own other than the 72 Ford LTD. I would have loved to have had this beast as a first car. 400 big block, a lot of things you can do with it. A lot of guys are using them in dirt track cars, things of that nature. So anyway, got to get the battery out of the Galaxy, get it over here, get it in, get this bad boy started before he gets home, get it in the warm garage for him so that we can work on it. Be right back. Awesome battery holder downer. Could only find one glove. A little chilly out here. It's not too bad in northwest Arkansas. Sun's going down. It's probably around 50 degrees. This ain't gonna work. Come on now. Wow. Wait. Yeah, let's take it out here. Come on, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and try to crank this over and see what we got. It's kind of stubborn. It's been sitting about 3 weeks since it's been started. This isn't coming off right, but it's coming off. Come on now. Oh, there we go. It's off. I'm just sitting here spinning. Oh, the whole thing came off. All right. Let's see what we got. How much time we got? We're good. We're gonna put a little juice in here. Get those bowls filled up. Get this thing started. Get it idling. Exercise a little bit, got a little bit of smoke going on there. I'm gonna let it stay here and idle for a minute. Smoking like a locomotive. Normally to do that, we don't run it for a couple of weeks. It kind of works itself out. We'll see how it goes here. I think I'm going to go ahead and get this hood down, get this thing moved in the garage. Kind of point this towards the garage and get that done. There we go. I'll get it in the garage and we'll get working. looks like we are leaking some transmission oil, transmission fluid. That definitely is going to have to be looked into as well. You know, this thing just needs to be drove. It needs to be loosened up, the rings, the valves cleaned out. It's just been sitting. It's got a new fuel tank in it from the previous owner. It's got new glass patch, new exhaust system on it. Got a really good deal on the car, can't complain. But anyway, we got it on here. I'm gonna wait. Ooh, it's smoky in here from that smoke. But I'm gonna wait for my son to get home, and we'll get out here. We got some electrical issues to work on. Okay, folks, we've got the LTD in the garage. Dinner's cooking. It's Taco Tuesday, so we are not gonna miss that tonight. What we're doing here, we got the dash taken, not the whole dash, the dash pad, instrument cluster. What we're trying to fix right now, we've got the flashers working, we've got the turn signals working. We don't have a lot of the lights working inside the instrument cluster. You got to have that at night, obviously. And so I'll be taking that out. We'll talk about that in just a second. What I do want to show you are the dash parts. I've got some of them up here. They look to be in pretty good shape. All of them, even the dash parts down below. Everything's looking pretty good. There's one problem area, and here's the part that goes up by the windshield. It's metal. It looks great. It's immaculate. Here's the problem child right here. We're gonna have to learn how to do something. I don't know what we're gonna do. I've seen people, you know, they have a special. It's almost like a foam filler that you use to clean this up, and then you sand it, then you paint it, and things of that nature. I don't know how well that would work. Plus, I'm not going to spend $50 on this, and these are very expensive to buy new. Number one. Number two, if you can find one in a salvage yard, they're usually in worse shape than this because they've been sitting there a long time. So we're going to look at that. We're going to come up with a creative idea for that, and we'll definitely share it with you. So we're going to go back up here. I want to show you through the windshield. I've had this instrument cluster out, and you can see right here we've got a new light switch, and basically we've just got a couple connectors to take off here. We're going to get that cluster out, we're going to get it on the workbench, and I'll kind of explain to you what's going on with it. All right, here we go. Here's the back of the instrument cluster, 1972 Ford LTD. What we're going to talk about here will probably work for any instrument cluster that has this ribbon concept. And so basically what you have here, you've got the light switch, which the power comes in, and it makes the connection, and the power goes to the harness and comes in right here. So you've got certain points where power comes in. You've got ground, and you've got power. It's all looped together. The problem we're having is we've got over on the passenger side, the right-hand side, we've got good lighting. Over here on the left, we don't. So trying to figure out what we can do here. What we do know is that all the light bulbs work. These are the same light bulbs that go in the, it's a parking light bulb. So we took every one of these bulbs and tested them in a parking light socket, and they all work fine. You can also, well, we'll get to that in a second. So the first thing we want to do, I'm just going to show you an example right here. I'm going to start with this one right here. You can order these at Rock Auto too, by the way. They sell these if these are broken or whatever. They're fairly cheap. And I can tell you the light bulbs, you buy them like in a 10-pack. They're like less than 20 cents a piece. It's an absolute no-brainer. So, okay. So the way this works, like any electrical circuit, you're going to have a negative and a positive. And these are linked coming in here. You have a negative coming in one side, a positive coming in the other side. Now, the question is, are we getting proper continuity between point A and point B? And the way we can check that is with our meter over here. We've got it set on continuity. And just an example, I'll show you an example on this right here. When you're checking for continuity, you're just making sure that energy can pass through it. It's not broken. So if I take this piece of metal, you hear that beep, that tone, that my meter is telling me that there's nothing broken, the electricity will pass through there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this point here, and we're going to come back to this right here, and we're going to put this right here. We have continuity. And we'll go through and check every one of those. I think the problem that we're having is not continuity. I think the problem is where it makes contact right here with these little flanges on the bulb. We've got to get all that cleaned up. And here's the solution that my son and I have come up with working on this. Tried a little bit of 4/0 steel wool. Didn't like that idea because I'm getting little metal flakes everywhere. Just took a piece of Scotch-Brite, and you can see this pretty good on here. What I'm going to do is just shine this up real gently. I'm going to shine that up where it makes contact on this side. Looks like a shiny penny now. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And you notice I'm only doing it on these two sides where the bulb is going to make contact. Okay? So here's the bulb. You've got the, where'd my pointer go? There we go. This bulb here, you've got these contacts here and here. They're oriented this way when it goes in on the sides, but when you put it in, it turns and makes contact here and here. Okay, so we've cleaned that up. Now what we've decided for the bulbs, because we've tested the bulbs and we know that they're good, you can also do the same continuity on this and it should give you a beeping sound. But what we're going to do, two things we want to, two things we want to do here in this socket. It's kind of hard to see, I know. Okay, what we want to do is we want to clean these up. We also want to get these bent up where they're standing proud so that we know for sure they're making contact right here. And here's how we're going to do that. What you don't want to do, number one, you don't want to bend that up too far and break it off. That's a bad thing. And the other thing is you don't want to do this while the bulb's not in there because your whole assembly will just pop out. So what I've done, I leave the bulb in it, and I'm simply taking this and just bending that up a little bit. That's actually too far, but I think it'll be fine when I press it down. And that right there, okay, now I can take my bulb back out. I can take my bulb back out. There we go. And I will take, actually I'm using a little piece of emery, a little piece of sandpaper, and I'm just gently going over the top of those to get them shiny to make sure that we're getting good contact. And I think that'll work. So I'm going to go through this process for this entire instrument cluster, get all these cleaned up, and then we'll plug it in and we'll see what we got. Got an update for you here real quick. As I'm going through this, we've talked about continuity. We're using our multimeter set on the continuity, insignia. And we're using this, we're using this to make sure that there's not a problem with the continuity of wiring between point A and point B. So, what we've done, we've cleaned off these areas here. I showed you that just a second ago. We've also raised up these tabs and hit them with a piece of emery and cleaned it up. So I'm just going to set this here just as an example. We should have continuity because it runs through the bulb between these 2 points. We're getting some mixed signals, but we're not getting that tone. We're not getting continuity. So here's the solution. One additional step to this process. What I did, you can do one of two things. What you want to do is get down inside and clean these terminals. There's probably some just tarnishing down there. You can use an emery board like this. What I'm using is just a little rat tail file, and I'm putting it down in there just like a dentist doing a root canal. It's kind of hard to see. Can't get the light right. But I'm just putting it down in there and cleaning up those terminals. Okay? Got that. So blow it out a little bit. Now I'm going to put the bulb back in, and we're going to do the same exact test. It's upside down. I'm just setting it there. Now I should have continuity between these. Now I should have continuity between these. There we go. There we go. I hate the little probes on this meter. The little pieces of metal are so small. It makes it so difficult. My old meter broke. I love the probes. There you go. Okay, so there's no reason that this bulb should not work. Okay, we've made sure we have good continuity between point A and point B on both sides. We have cleaned everything. We're getting good continuity between the 2 points on the bulb. We should clean this up, get it back in, and everything should be working. I'll get back with you as soon as we get this done. We'll get it plugged up, get it back in the car. We'll check the lights, and we'll let you take a look. Okay, folks, update on the 72 LTD. As you can see, we made a big old list. We went from front to back on this car and listed everything that we need to do, everything we need to buy to get this thing ready to put it on the market. From an engine standpoint, not too much to do. We just get this thing cleaned up and get it out and run it and get everything loosened up. We need to run some carb cleaner through it. I'll replace the fuel filter again when we run a tank through it or so. I've already replaced it once. We need to change the oil, change the plugs. They look pretty nasty. I need to get a battery hold down other than that bungee cord just to keep everybody safe. So we've got our list. We've got to get some ordering done on Rock Auto. We've already done a lot of electrical work. We replaced a lot of the outlets for like the rear tail lights that were rusted up. Got all that stuff working. And from the previous video that you saw, let me get around here to the interior. We did get the instrument cluster. All the lights are working. We're good there. We can't put the dash back in yet because we got to do some repair. We're going to have a video on that. I'll show you that in a minute. What we're going to do on the front seat, we're going to get some Gorilla Tape and we're going to tape that up and put a seat cover on it. We got a little work to do on the headliner. We'll sew that up there, and that'll pretty much take up care of the interior. Just little things. Need one little door lock knob, and get this thing cleaned up. Let me show you this dashboard. Great thing about an LTD 72 dashboard. This thing is made out of plastic. This thing is made out of metal. They're in great shape. This is your vinyl padded thing. Let's take a good look at this. This thing's a mess. It is a mess. I've done some research on it, and here is exactly what we're going to do. We'll do a separate video on this process. That's why we can't put this back in yet. We're going to cut out all those cracks. We're going to use some foam spray, fill them up, let that dry overnight. Trim them up, sand them off, make it look nice. We're going to find the closest vinyl we can to match it. We've got a heat gun to help with that. We're going to glue it on. It's going to look great. So that's what we're doing with that. We've got to buff out this body, get that done. We'll be going down. We've got the original hubcaps to this, but just love Steelies. We're not going to have white walls. We're going to go find a set of used tires. We'll do like we did on my Chrysler. We'll go down, we'll have them take the tires off, we'll bring the rims home, we'll rework them, get them primed, get all the rust off them so it seals up good. Go down, have the tires put on, and then we'll tape it off and put some gloss black on those rims. We'll be changing all the lug nuts too. There's some odd lug nuts on there. As far as the vinyl top, it's all intact. Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage underneath of it. You can see this white area here, right through there. Don't like that, but we're not going to touch it. We'll let the next owner address that. We're going to get this vinyl top cleaned up. We're going to get it moisturized and looking a lot better than it is. And the only thing, really the only body damage on this, of course, we got some rust in the lower quarter panels. You can't see it from the outside, but it's there. We do have the trim piece that goes on the bottom of that door. We're not going to be messing with any of those dents or anything like that. That's the biggest body damage right there. But overall, this is a solid ride, and we're going to get it cleaned up. It'll make somebody a good little rod if they know what they're doing. Okay? So we'll see you on the next video. Thanks. All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening, YouTube. Quick update on the 72 LTD. This is the project that my son and I are working on. He's a little camera shy, so we're not gonna push him on that. He hides when I video. Tell you what I'm learning already is the hard thing is not doing the work. The hard time is getting a good, clear, steady video that's not shaking all over the place. I watch it sometimes. I'm like, that's Scooby-Doo, you know, it's just all over the place. So trying to do better on that. Anyway, 72 Ford LTD. We've been working on the vinyl top. You can see that this is a little darker now, and I'll show you a comparison here in a minute. But we've really gone through experimenting with a couple different things versus going out and spending 20 bucks on products that are specially made for this. Did a little research. A lot of old timers will use Murphy's oil soap on vinyl. They'll use baby oil. We tried some of that stuff. I actually tried baby oil. This is the second coat. I did a coat 2 days ago, did a coat today. It's really sucking it in. You might have to do 2 or 3 coats. The real test on this will be how it reacts to the sun when we get it out in the sun. If it doesn't react well, then we're going to have to go invest some money and get some good vinyl protector on here. We're just trying to clean up this car and get it ready for the next owner. Wheels, you can see that we have some spare tires on this car. Did find out, always heard this, had some rims off a 68 Chrysler fit on this 72 Ford. Always heard that Ford and Dodge would sometimes interchange. Worked great on the back, didn't work great on the front. I didn't even realize that this car has front disc brakes, and there's not enough room for that Dodge rim to squeeze over there, so I had to find some old Ford rims. We've been out looking for tires today. Didn't have any luck. Went to a lot of used tire shops looking for a good used set of 15-inch tires. There's hard to find out there. We're going to have to get on Facebook and Craigslist and things of that nature. We don't want to put a lot of money into this. We just want to clean it up, get it running good, and get it to the next owner. So what are we doing tonight? We're doing 2 things. You can see I got some dash parts up here. Got some dash parts over on the bench. We'll be working on that tonight. And we're going to also be working on the seat. So I'm going to give you a couple close-ups of what we're doing this evening. Okay, here on the roof, I do want to show you this. You can see the difference between this, let me get my hand in here, between this and this. We took some simple green, a bucket of water, and a brush and really scrubbed and cleaned this. You can see this dark area is the baby oil. It's really soaked it up. This was the first treatment. This is the second treatment. The other thing that we also did on here is this was severely cracked and just decaying and falling apart at the seam. So I took some black RTV and just sealed this up. Now, the goal here is not to put lipstick on a pig. I get it. I understand. The goal is to get this sealed up so it doesn't get any worse, and 100%, you know, tell the new owner about this, what we did and everything. But this is, like I said, just to prevent it from getting worse. They can make a decision what they want to do next. So you can see big difference, okay? The other thing we'll be working on tonight is the dashboard and the front seat. The front seat, we bought a cool looking kind of like seat. Whoops. You'll just have to see the seat cover when we get it on. We're gonna cut away some of that material. We're gonna duct tape it up. We're gonna get the seat cover on it. Back seat's in great shape. We're gonna clean it up. We've been working on some of the door panels, cleaning those up. But as far as the dash, like I said before, we got metal parts to the dash, which are setting back over here. They're in great shape. The plastic parts are in great shape, but the vinyl parts are not in great shape. And before I get to that, I just noticed the hood. I want you to see how shiny this hood is. Been experimenting with some, been actually using some, forget the name of the brand, I'll tell you later. Doesn't matter. Been using a polisher and some compound, and you can see how shiny that hood's getting. You get a lot of black, gray gunk off this. You know, you can only clean it so much by hand, but use the polishing compound and a cutter pad, a light cutter pad, and the polisher, and really cut through some of this. Then came back and gave it a coat of wax and waxed it up, and that's pretty much where we're going to leave it. But we'll do the whole body like that. Back over here to the dashboard. This is what's going on. Got a lot of things going on in this car. We're trying to fast forward and get this thing ready to go to the next owner, so that we can invest in the car that my 14-year-old truly wants, and we can start working on it. Anyway, this dash, this is the typical, you got the metal backing, you got foam on it, then you got vinyl. You can see this vinyl is just flaking away. It's just horrible. It's all dried out. Done a lot of research, watched a lot of videos. What we're going to do, I'm not going to get real invasive here with like a die cutter or something like that. But we're going to, all these high spots here, this has to be straight across. This all has to be flush. We're going to be cutting some of this out. We're going to do that for every crack that's on here. Then we're going to take some foam spray and we're going to fill up those cracks. We're going to let it sit overnight. We're going to come back and trim that, sand it. We'll sand everything off to rough up the surface. We'll clean it real good. Then the vinyl that we're going to put on it. We're going to go ahead and give this a whirl. Never done it before. Don't think I could have found a better vinyl that is suitable for this color interior for this LTD. I was worried that we're going to have to go black and it would be totally different. But just by random occurrence, checked at a local Walmart, they had this. It was on clearance for $1.50 a yard. They had 2.66 yards left. I bought it all because we can use it for another project. This was a really good money saver right here. How we'll apply that, we're going to try the Loctite spray adhesive and see how that goes. We've also got a heat gun that will involve in the process. You know, we'll have to heat things up and tuck it in here and get it glued real quick. This is where the vent goes in. And we'll have to, especially these edges right here, there's a lot of contouring there. We're going to have to heat that vinyl up with the heat gun and get it to lay real nice and smooth and wrap it around. So we'll get to work on this shortly and we'll get back with you. Thanks. Okay, we're back. Couple things we tried here on the dashboard, a little trial and error. You can see a little bit of the metal down here. So using a blade to cut this will not work. If you try to cut this, it just shatters more, and I'll show you on an example here. Well, I'm not going to do that with the blade. I mean, it's just, you just try to cut that, and it just cracks more. So this is worthless for this. Even you know, MacGyvering it, trying to figure out some things. I tried a soldering iron. I thought maybe I could melt it. It worked okay. Then I broke out the Dremel, and instead of using like a cutting disc or something like that, because I wanted something that could get up under it. And this is actually a router bit for my Dremel. So what this allows me to do is allows me to smooth out these edges so they're not going to break again. I'll probably round off that corner right there, but it allows me to get up under here at every angle and trim some of this out so that when I spray the foam in there, it's going to go up under there and have a footing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you this one little piece real quick, what I'm doing, okay? Got to plug in the Dremel. Got to plug in the Dremel. Okay, there we go. Allows me to get down here on all these cracks and break all this out. There we go. Take off those sharp edges. Just going to take this straight across to this damaged area here. Round that out. Now let's see what I've got here. Actually, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'll go in here and clean out. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Okay, go in underneath at an angle and clean out some of that foam so that when I spray the new foam in there, it's going to have a place to go and anchor. And that's what I want to do. Get some of that foam out of there. Alright, there you go. So that's what I've found, the good old Dremel, that works the best. I'll probably clean up that little sharp edge there. But that allows that's going to allow that foam to get in there and expand out and really expand into those crevices underneath and stick. Remember, we're putting vinyl over here, so I'm just looking to smooth all this out like this is sticking up. I got to cut all that out, smooth it out, and then we'll go ahead and spray foam this. So I'll get back to you when we're ready to do that. Alrighty, here we are. We have got, it looks like a piece of wormwood. I've gone through and dremeled out all these areas that were cracked to the best of my ability. And I've also sanded this down just to rough up the surface. That's always a good idea, just to make everything stick. So, and we'll be cleaning this up and sanding it again after we get this foam. So we're going to take some spray foam. I'm not very good at this. I've used this stuff before. Don't get it on your hands. If you get it on your hands, it's going to be there for about 27 years. So it's going to be there a while. So anyway, let's give this a whirl. See what we got. Looky there. Ooh. Boy, that sucker, I tell you what, it just gets on it right now. It's expanding, I'll tell you what. Whoa. Get up under here. There we go. We are just going to get this done. Oops, got to keep the can up right. Oh, darn it. Come on now. Come on. Work with me. There you go. Get all the underside. Boy, it looks like a mess. I'll do couple more small pieces here, then we'll turn this off. I just want everybody to see how messy this is. Ooh. Boy, it just comes on, doesn't it? Just come on. Got to hold the can upright or it just blows air. I'm sure that's not good for the process. Come on now, work with me. There we go. I don't know what's going on there, but... Okay, well there you go. That's what we're going to do with this entire thing. We'll let it dry overnight and we'll pick this back up tomorrow. Alrighty folks, here is 2 rolls of duct tape on the front seat. What we tried to do was we trimmed off all the bad pieces. We got we tried to put a little tension on that duct tape from front to back and left to right, just to put the comfort back there. But anyway, that ought to hold together. Now we'll get the seat cover on. Alrighty, there you have it. There's the seat cover. As you can tell, we tried to stick with the motif of the car and pick the car seat that best matched the interior. So there you go. I am confident that Vice Grip Garage would be proud of this seat cover. Thank you and have a good evening. Okay, short video. A couple of you have been looking at this car on Facebook, Craigslist, other places I got it posted, want to hear it run. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of this car. It's been raining here for a couple days, and you can see a little bit of water sprinkle on the hood. That's what that is. But anyway, you can see how we've cleaned up the body. Took some compound, it was Meguiar's, and got it cleaned up and waxed it. The top is about as good as it's gonna get. Got to remember, car's what, 49 years old, so we've done a lot of work on this car. Pulled it out, rescued it, had been setting for 5+ years, and did a lot of work on it. There's my license plate number for all you thieves. so enjoy it. Okay, so I do live in Northwest Arkansas. My property is protected, so you can do whatever you got to do. So anyway, want to give you a quick rundown of the vehicle. What I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and start this beast. It is a 400 big block. It's got true dual exhaust, meaning it's not a Y pipe. It's coming straight out of the headers. Okay, stock headers. So I'm going to set this down real quick. So just bear with me, so I can go start this thing up, and so you can hear it. Then we'll move to the front. Yeah, this car had set for a while, so when we first got this thing running, it definitely had some smoke coming out. Had to get those rings loosened up and everything, and you can see now it's not smoking at all. So real quick rundown. Wanted to hear the engine run. I'm gonna let you hear the engine run. See if I can get this thing out one-handed. There we go. All right, there you go. It is a true 400, big block. Somebody had painted the intake. Looks like Chevy orange to me, but it's not a Chevy engine, I can guarantee it. So it's running pretty smooth. You know, the only thing about this engine, we went through it pretty good. Rebuilt the carb. It's a 2-barrel stock. It's got the, man, look at that coil. That's a little short, fat one. It's pretty much, I don't know if it's original, but it's definitely a stock coil. Anyway, there it is running. I mean, new plugs, new wires, rebuilt carb, like I said, went over it, timing, distributor, all that kind of stuff. There is a slight hesitation that I can't figure out what it is. I think it's ignition somewhere. It probably just got sloppy. I tightened up the points from 0.017 to 0.015 just to see if that would help. It didn't. But there is a little slight hesitation when you take off. And then again, a 4-barrel intake, a 4-barrel carburetor and headers would probably solve that. This thing has a lot of potential. So a little bit about the inside. Let me go and shut this off. But you know, the interior is not perfect. It's been worked on. The front seat's pretty much trashed. It'd need to be recovered. There's been some dash work in here. Just tried to get everything stabilized and ready to go. The headliner's in pretty good shape. There's a split in the back I haven't done anything with yet. Of course, if I keep doing work on it, you know the deal, I'll raise the price. Back seat, as normal, is in pretty good shape. And there is a cut in the back of the front seat. Didn't do anything with that. Let me show you the trunk real quick. Get the keys here. This is definitely a solid car for being 49 years old. So let's get LTD's got the flip up. The trunk overall is pretty doggone solid. I do have the original hubcaps. I got 4 of them. And you can see the rust in these lower quarter panels. That's what I put in the ad. That's where your rust problem is in this car. Excuse me. See these lower quarter panels? They're going to need some attention in the near future. Very achievable. I don't even know that you would have to. You probably just buy the lower quarter panel and replace those and replace it right under that molding. Wouldn't have to do a terrible lot of body work on that because that molding will save you. So anyway, there you go. There is the beast. The asking price is $3,200. There is some damage on that back door. You can see it right there. We bucked it out. Didn't try to push it out or anything like that. It's really the only body damage on this vehicle. But asking price is $3,200. That's negotiable if you want to come look at it. But let's not negotiate over Facebook or texting. You know, if you want to come look at the car, come look at it, and we'll see if we can come to an agreement. So let me give you another shot here. back up and let you see the beauty of this car. This is a monster, there's no doubt about it. So, ooh, I'm gonna have to get way back. That would be the neighbor's dog. There you go, folks. Look forward to hearing from you.